Today I sit down with my co-host and CEO of Live 2, McClain Portis, as we go over the trials and tribulations, mental blockages, and unexpected circumstances of the entrepreneur mindset and trying to take over the independent music industry as a young buck.
That was incredible.
The A&A podcast.
That was just off rip, too. Yeah. You wrote that down and already memorized it? I am impressed.
Dylan, our extremely handsome producer.
Yeah, Dylan, come on camera for a moment.
Dude, he just was. He's sitting there. No. You got enough time. No, I'm just kidding. Come on, crouch down.
Yeah.
Dylan hates that we take so long to answer every single question, so we're introducing a lightning round. This will consist of 5 questions that I will ask the host each week. Well, not the host, the guest. The host this week, the guest next week. Don't fucking... all right? Stop. I'm working on it, okay? Anyways, we'll have 30 seconds to answer each of the questions. Today, since I'm interviewing McClain, it will be him. I got 5 questions, 30 seconds apiece. I ain't finished college. Figure out how long that is. 2.5 minutes, bitch. I just did it in my head. Fuck you, let's do it. What artists are you most excited to see the development outside of Live 2? Who you got your eye on?
Okay, Livingston is super sick, super tough.
And why do you think that?
His sonics, his production, everything about the way that he moves and the way that he sees his world of things is very elevated. And he just got out of his deal, so I think that now he's going to be able to move how he wants to. So nice. I'm very excited to see how Livingston does.
Do you think Los Angeles is still a critical aspect to making the dream work, being in Los Angeles?
No, I don't. But you have to know what you're doing from the very beginning, and you have to create your own community, but it's possible. I mean, Mr. Beast never left North Carolina, and now he's got half that town working for him and the whole population and ecosystem running around him. So it's definitely possible. It's a little bit, you get benefits of maybe less rent that you have to pay, but if you're crazy enough, people will come to you. You don't have to go to them.
What member of an artist team do you think is most integral?
I would still go manager. Just
interesting. I did not think you would say that.
But I think that what a manager is now should be redefined in a lot of ways, or at least how they maneuver. And I think a lot of traditional managers are maneuvering their artists in the wrong, not the wrong direction, but a very traditional direction.
Yeah.
Whereas I think managers should now be very boots on the ground with the artists and building momentum. And a lot of the times, I think that filmmakers was my second.
That's what I thought you were going to say, and that's what I think I would argue is most important.
It is, but that communication standpoint, the person that here we kind of do a lot of it all. It's all like, we're not a manager, I'm not a filmmaker, we're not a label, we don't really know. We do kind of a mixture of those things, and I think that mixture is very important, and a really good manager would have a good bit of that mixture.
All right, buddy, you're done.
All right.
What is your least favorite aspect of the new music industry?
I think that all of the noise that it creates, and it makes it very hard to keep that mystique and make everything about true art, because there's such a heightened level of competition, because anybody can make it. Therefore, everybody wants to make it, and therefore you have 9 billion people competing against each other. And musicians aren't even competing just with musicians. Now they're competing with gardeners who want to be streamers. Like, it's a very, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much more competition because of the democratized state, but it gives everybody a chance. So it's a very, yin and yang kind of situation.
Give and take, for sure. Damn.
Yeah.
All right, and this last one, maybe a little bit sensitive for sure, but just because I can't understand it from my perspective, and so I just want to get your take on it.
Sure.
What's it like being afraid of peanuts?
Cut the camera.
That's the motherfucking lightning round. We're out of here. All right, let's get into it. So, like we're saying today, I'll be interviewing McClain a little bit just on some of the nuances as Live 2's gone from obviously something that he started in his college dorm room and something that was so far away from what it was now in terms of it being a clothing company, and now shifting into this mega media fucking everything. Just like you said, I mean, kind of having a hand in everything, dabbling, being a legitimate force to be reckoned with within this new music industry, which is just so fucking tight. So fucking tight. So crazy. If you guys do have interest in it, McClain has done a video on this before where he kind of just sits down and fucking jaws on for 6 months about the start of Live 2 and how
45-minute video.
It's 6 or 7 months, give or take.
No cuts. There's literally no cuts. I just straight raw dog it the entire explanation.
So anyways, if you guys want to go check that out, that I think will be a little bit more technical in terms of like then this happened and then this happened and now we're here. I'm here to kind of just pick McClain's brain on some of his like personal viewpoints on stuff, where I think, again, that video is more of a timeline. I want this to be more of like your emotions kind of associated with certain things.
Cool.
What do you think's the closest that you came to giving up on Live 2? We're just starting off with a fucking heater, bro. Holy, plug your nose because the pressure's getting crazy.
So, okay, I'd say the very beginning of everything, I'd say it's not the closest I came, but I want to define, I think the very beginning of starting anything, you probably have ebbs and flows where like 1 week you don't even like remember that you're doing it. And you, like, I think we talked about in your episode too, you kind of have to like internalize it and convince yourself first that that's who you are. So there were probably a couple times here and there where I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just making hoodies out of my dorm room. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. That, but then the real like serious when things were like the Live 2 brand had already started to be established. People knew what it was. And the only time I've ever slipped into that was when, I had kind of a falling out with the people that I was working with at the time, like a couple childhood friends and whatnot. And I went through a breakup at the same time. And I had been in such a grind mode on Live 2 that my whole life was basically those people, that girlfriend, and Live 2. And all at once, like 2 out of 3 of those pillars had fallen down. And nothing with Live 2 was working to the level of where I knew how to make it actually profitable and achieve what I wanted to, and how to have people see it for what I wanted it to be seen for. And so it was just like so overwhelming all at once. And the people I was working on it with completely left. So I was just like, it was the only time I've ever lived alone for an entire summer in LA, in my own room. And I just like started over from scratch. Like Live 2 was like crumbled down to ashes. The thing that I credit kind of saving it was Zaid, who is the only person who had worked for Live 2 in that time of things. And he and I weren't even that close yet. Like, we had never hung out alone up until that point. And he had only come to a couple things here and there to film some stuff for us. He was the only person in LA that summer that I felt like I still somewhat knew. With that group of people that I no longer worked with at the time, they had really seen it in kind of a very businessy format, and they wanted it to be a part of the old industry, and I could never explain to them that I thought that it was something new, but I didn't know why, and I couldn't really express that in the most coherent format because I didn't even know what I was talking about. But Zaid, when we went out to dinner, I was talking him through some of it, and he goes, like, I never needed Live 2 to be a business. I just wanted it to be cool people doing dope shit, and that's all I cared about. Like, I don't need to get paid. I don't need to do anything. And that just like rekindled that spirit that I've always had. I just never thought anybody else had seen it yet. And so the fact that he had seen it and thought that that's what Live 2 was made me believe again in myself too. And then from there on, it just got better and better and better every single day until now. So
that was wonderfully coherent.
Thank you.
That was great. Yeah, that was fucking... You checked everything off that list. That's really cool. What do you think is the worst advice that you've ever received?
I don't listen to advice that well, to be honest.
But what's just like the worst tidbit? And like sit on it for a little bit. I don't need like an immediate answer.
So I don't know if I can come up with very specific examples, but it does happen a lot. And so I think when I'm saying I don't listen to advice very often, I think that's like I've taught myself that over a little bit of time. And I take everything in and I try to internalize it against my own
moral code
of thought, my own moral code, if you will. But there have been so many, and this is definitely reflective of the way that we want to move and how untraditional it is. I'm trying to redefine the exact business structure that has existed for dozens of years inside of this industry, and like the kinds of contracts that artists sign and all of those different things. So there's tons of advice from people who are a part of that traditional system who don't understand that I don't care about getting it right now. Yeah. I just want it to be good, and I want it to be new, because something is wrong and nobody knows exactly what's wrong with the old thing. I don't know what normal people do with their time because I only think about Live too. So that's been a very confusing matter.
There's nothing that you're saying. There's nothing that somebody could tell you that would make you, just because you have spent so much time sitting on it.
I'm so battle hardened by my own brain, and I know exactly the way that I want to move, that the second I hear anything that isn't in that realm, I automatically shut down. And even if they might be correct, there are times when people have been correct and given me good advice, but I would rather be wrong 99 times and right once, but experience those 99 things I was wrong about for myself, to understand why exactly all of the elements and variables going into it were, which ones were incorrect and which ones were correct, so that when I do stuff in the future, I know myself without having to ask anybody why it's going to work or why it's not going to work.
I do want to just kind of bounce off that, because I do understand entirely what you're saying, but just for somebody that may not understand as thoroughly how both of our minds work. What you're saying is obviously to trust your instinct, to trust your gut 1000%, and to never ever second guess that. But I don't think that, and there is a careful balance between letting things muddle your own thought processes and infect them and warp them. But it is also, I think, very important. The best leaders are the best listeners. And so I think it's very, very important to not put yourself above any, and I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying to anybody that may not know exactly the energy behind where you're coming from, it is very important to take into account what other people are saying. Even if it's just important to listen to people, period, whether they have the business know-how or not. And again, it's also very important to not let that muddle your thought processes, whether they have the business know-how or not. But we're not above anybody, and nobody's above having nobody's below having a phenomenal idea.
Now that there are so many people who are living day to day inside of this bubble that we've created and experiencing everything that we are, all the failures and successes, and some of them, they might be pocketed off. There's kind of different worlds inside the Live 2 universe, where Zay and Mitchell are very much so inside the music video world, and you're very much so inside of the artistry world, and Dylan's inside of the YouTube world. So people inside that also interact with other elements of this ecosystem that we're building, they are able to collaboratively with me come up with our next moves, and those are the people that I like to listen to. Yes,
dude, I'm looking at you right now. Absolutely, for sure. Head on. I'm looking at you right now, and it's just so crazy, bro. It's just so crazy. We were just texting each other one day, dude. And we didn't know each other at all, bro. And it was just, let's make a song and we'll see where it goes, and we'll see what we can do for each other. And that wasn't very long ago. We're talking 1 year ago, almost not exactly anymore, but in terms of when we were doing shit, TBD came out in March. And so now it's April. And so we are a month and a little bit of change. And when you were just saying that about this community that definitely you've built, but that I've had a pleasure of coming and being a part of, it's just bro, when we talked on the phone for the first time, we did not see this, and we did not see that last show. If we were talking on the phone and it was just I don't know exactly what your words were, but I remember them being something along the lines of so we'll just see what happens. We'll just see what happens. And if somebody was filming that and then it just cut to whoa, dude, that's so crazy. We're in the backyard and the last show was nuts, man. And then on Saturday this is about to be so crazy. That's so cool, bro. That is so cool. Fuck the business. Fuck anything getting bigger than it is right now. Obviously we have the foresight and we have the intention to move that way, but bro, what the fuck are we doing here? That's so crazy. Man. It's so crazy, bro. We've come such a far way. That's so fucking nuts, dude.
You always talk about that reach across is the most important thing, man. Building up together we were just talking about, and that's what it's been from day one for us. And just crazy. Every single, we were even texting today
4 chapters in, dude. 200,000 monthly listeners. That's so crazy, bro.
We were texting this morning about some simple thing about photography at the show, and we both texted the same thing at the same time. We were wow, our minds are so in sync because of everything that we've experienced together at the same time. So it's been quite the journey for a year.
So crazy.
We're only a year in, and so much crazy stuff has happened, so I can't imagine what the next 20 years are gonna look like.
Jeez. Wow.
Oh yeah.
This might be a little unconventional, and I do apologize, but for the sake of me being entirely here, I just want to take literally 2 minutes. Literally, I'm just going to set a timer for 2 minutes. Let me just get present here. Because when you're talking, I'm feeling a little just skelter kind of. Or I'm going to set a timer for you. Sick. I feel much better. That was great.
Yeah. I feel good too.
So we talked about obviously a little bit how this started, and again, that video is out if you guys wanted to go and see the more technical aspects of things. But Live 2 did start in a dorm room with intentions of being something completely other than what it has become. So now looking back, having being a little seasoned, a little battle hardened, looking back, and obviously we still have a long way to go. But what do you think, like, 19-year-old McClain is most fucking stoked on right now?
I think the whole reason I started Live 2 was because I felt super isolated in my brain, and that not many other people understood this kind of mindset that we have towards life. And now I feel surrounded by so many people that just want to talk about it day in and day out. And so it's never really about the numbers or about like how many people even come to the shows or any of that stuff. That's all dope. But at the very core, it's about creating like that Plato's Academy that people want to like sit around and philosophize all day about the way that we see the world. And I feel like we've hit that point where people understand what the jukebox represents, and that community, and our Mondays kind of represent that with our office days that we have here with 10 or so people in that office just talking ideas and sharing their own personal work in a lot of different ways too. So I think that community aspect that we've somehow managed to muster up, and I think it's just been a reflection of just never giving in to any other kind of mindset, and just no matter what, no matter how many people thought it was crazy, no matter how many all throughout high school, all throughout freshman, sophomore year, like I was very isolated with this kind of creative work especially. And yeah, those beginning years were some of the most isolating times of my life. Like there was literally, I don't know how to like describe this at all. Like I failed to, I think back on it myself, and there's no way to muster up the actual words to describe what those times felt like, because the words themselves don't feel like what that time felt like, if that makes sense. And it was, I'm trying to like think of a specific anecdote of what that felt like, but it was very much so just like going to classes that I hated, going back to my dorm room, sitting there with just my brain on fire of everything I knew that we could be doing if I had the right people around, but just having complete isolation and being surrounded by the college scene and parties and people that just think about what they're doing tomorrow and don't have this grandiose vision in some kind of way. And I just craved that so bad, and now we've got it. If I'm in my room alone, I can call you, or I can call Dylan, or I can call Tyler, or I can call Zayd or Zay or Noah, or just so many freaking people, man, that have this kind of feeling about themselves too.
And you did that, bro. You fucking did that. And like in all of these people like separately are just as much as grateful as that as you're saying you are, but like you brought that together, bro. That's so crazy. That's so cool, bro. And you're still so fucking young, like so young, just kicking in. And you have obviously like and anybody that's in this group would attest to it, that like I don't know what it is, but I know that every single person that is a part of this has never believed in somebody as much before, without any pressure, like adding on to it. But bro, like something about you just has like the inherent quality of like, yeah, like he's gonna do what he's saying he's gonna do, and it's fucking sick, dude. It's cool. I've never met somebody that I was so certain wouldn't let anything stop them from like achieving that goal. And now like we're surrounding ourselves with other people who not only believe in it but share that same mindset of like, yeah, like let's get it. Like I do believe in this can be what you're saying it can be, and that's fucking crazy, bro. Everything that I do now is all in the spirit of not letting what we already have die. Like that's it. As if we have everything that we have right now for the rest of my life, then I am happy. Like that's it. There's nothing else that is needed. We don't need anything massive. We don't need, it's all in the name of putting fuel back into just keeping this alive. Wow. And that's it. on the flip end of what you'd be most like proud of, what do you think has been the most unexpected hardship?
I think while having this, he's trying to eat the microphone.
No, I'm not. I'm literally not
listening to this in the future on audio. But you do that a lot. You
eat the mic,
like eat the mic and like put it on your forehead.
Dude, Dylan doesn't fucking feature any of them, dude. If it's not yummy, why does it look yummy, dude? Tell me why.
Oh man. Okay. Hardship. I think because we're on this kind of wavelength of people inside of this community, understanding what's going on and understanding what we're all going through, and we're experiencing this kind of like higher wavelength of our way of living, and it's what we've always imagined. There are people that I love and adore outside of this kind of inner group of this thing that we've got going on, like family members, obviously, and childhood friends, and those kinds of people that I very much so still want to be in sync with them, but I find it very difficult to. And in the same token, like you were talking about earlier, having that other pillar outside of Live 2, like I struggle with that a lot still, in that while striving for these things, and everything inside of Live 2 feels so bright to me. It feels so colorful and so fun, but that by comparison makes the rest of the world feel so dreary, and so like there's nothing else I want to be doing. And that makes it really hard to relate to normal people, to have any kind of like normalcy in life. And I struggle with, do I need that normalcy, or am I just so crazy that this is my normal and like this is how I want things to be? And I don't know. I still struggle with that today. Like I can't go out to parties and talk to people because nothing in our
doesn't resonate.
Yeah, and with how much what's the word I'm looking for, in this like click driven, very attention based world that we live in, and how conditioned my brain has been to being like stimulated all the time 24/7. Because even
hey
we're talking here.
You mind?
Hey man,
the fuck?
It's just the news coverage. They're trying to see what we're doing over here. Yeah, with that kind of conditioning and attention-based things that I have access to, I can go on to TikTok and kind of doom scroll and constantly be thinking about Live 2 still in the background, because like everything I can find a way to tie into it, and like I can half be going for entertainment and half for work all at the same time, which is super overwhelming. And so there isn't great work-life balance, perhaps, is what I'm saying. And I don't know if I want it or if I need it, but I do want those relationships and to be able to have very human-based connections outside of Live 2 with people, just for the sake of being human.
I mean, while it is a problem and while it is definitely a hardship, I think it's probably one of the best.
Yeah.
And on the flip end of overindulging in, you know, the nightlife, the going out, the friends, the extracurriculars, whatever it may be, and not finding fulfillment in your work is probably the scariest fucking thing of all time to me.
The alternative is
There's
way
no
scarier.
point to being alive at that point. What are you doing? You know, as soon as you enter that just like monotonous, just day to day, like your life is just led on like autonomy, and it's just like, wake up, this is what I do. And some people they don't even get the chance, man. You know, they're born into something where their parents did something, they have a kid, they do this, they do that, their family has a certain belief system, their life is structured for them. It's like, it's almost something to be grateful for, like the problem to have that, you know what I mean? We were at the donut shop the other day, dude, and I was talking to that girl, and the lady behind the counter said that she wakes up every morning at 3 o'clock to be at work at 4:30, to leave at 3, to go pick up her kids from school, help them with homework, and get up the next morning to do the entire thing. And even that, there's something inherently beautiful in that, because she has it better than some people, but we are just the 0.00001%, and it's something to be just so overwhelmingly grateful for every single day, bro. Like the fact that we get to be like, yo, I love working so much, I need to find something that's not work. Like, that's crazy.
Absolutely. And I think most people have this inside of them, and I don't know why, but you gotta just figure out how to freaking listen to yourself and double down every single time. There are things that we're taking risks on for certain. Like there are things, but if you're not doing that, are you like, how do you feel alive?
Sure.
Like, how do you?
And if you understand who you are and what your mantra, your mission statement, your core beliefs are from the beginning, they're not risks. They're disguised as just. I've never once felt a pressure of like this needs to work.
Yeah.
You know, I've never once thought of that. I've never once thought of things that we did as risk, because you and I both understand so completely what we're trying to do here, that it's just a necessary step to the bigger piece of the pie.
Yeah.
I've never once been like, like, you know, because it's we've moved so so off of like integrity to what we are here to do, that like it just feels great every time we do it.
I have very few true successes in comparison to the amount of pure failures that we've had in the stuff that we're doing. Every single series that we've ever tried to start, every single thing has not worked once it got to a certain point. But because we did those things is why we're successful. Like, because we tried, continued to allow people to believe, and because I didn't let those failures, people watch. People watch how you respond to failure, and I think that is how people are attracted to other people, because there's 99.9999% of things that people try in a creative field fail. And so you very rarely get to see how people respond to successes. You only get to see how people respond to failures. Wow. And so when you fail in grace and with a good attitude and with an immediate, well, we're going to do it better next time, and we know what we learned, and here we go, all of a sudden you have people that believe in you. And that is our biggest success, is people believing in us. So, yeah.
There's a trillion shots that get put up before the game winner. Mm-hmm. A trillion. And then nobody ever talks about that. Nobody's interested in seeing the footage from the empty gym.
Yeah. Missed almost every one of them, and yet here we are.
Becoming the greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
Missed almost every single shot, and yet still we're going to become the greatest player of all time.
Exactly. That's a pretty good one to end on, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. Nice.
Yeah. Nice. Game time? Game time, baby.
Sure. I got a leak.
This is a game that I call Gen Z Barbie.
Nice! Hell yeah! Dude, you make me so happy, dude. This is great.
So I have a couple of words that the kids are saying these days, and you guys have to guess what they mean.
Something like aside, dude, I like noticed, I don't even know, I don't have a specific like anecdote of it, but like it's so weird getting older, and like I'm still tapped in for sure, but there's just certain things that like a freshman in high school understands right now that I don't, and I'm only 21, and I'm like, damn, like fucking, you know, or things that like I just have to catch up on, like I have to be like, what does that mean? Like,
Interesting.
All right, McClain.
Yeah.
The kids are saying this. What does goblin mode mean?
Goblin mode? Holy shit.
What does it mean to go into goblin mode?
How deep into the Reddit threads did you have to dive?
Hey, yeah, you know? Where are you sourcing this information? What high schooler do you have held captive in your room, bro? Goblin mode? I feel like it's got something to do with like guys enter into goblin mode when they're hitting on girls or something like that. Like they're, you know, they're texting them late at night and they're in goblin mode.
Goblin mode. I think I gotta like team up with you. I just don't know what else it would be.
Can females participate in goblin mode? Can we get a defining? Oh, they can.
Goblin mode. I would maybe it's just a state of not giving a fuck and just like completely going into like a state of getting done what needs to get done.
Yeah.
I feel so fucking old.
Goblin mode is when you are in an extreme reckless mode, feeling very mischievous and lack concern for the well-being of others, normally caused by consuming lots of alcohol. I'm gonna give that point to Pert. I think he was extra on point for that.
He went more general than I did, but that general paid off because I feel like mine was a category of that.
What does gorp mean?
Dude, what?
Gorp?
For real?
Gorp.
That's one?
Yes.
Dude, what? Gorp.
I feel like when I was a kid like this, like our word was like pwned. Like you got pwned. That was something that went around.
Gorp.
And it stands for something.
Get outright played. Gorp.
Whoa, that was hard.
Get outright played.
But I'll take a half point if the first two are gives off. Okay. I have no idea what RP stands for.
All right. So gorp is a general term for trail mix,
What?
and it stands for good old raisins and peanuts.
No way.
Show me the kids, man. Show me the kids.
This is a word.
Show me
Look at these
Carfax.
fucking granola babies, bro. What's happening?
All right, so point to neither of you.
Fuck.
Socioeconomics.
What does flopcorn mean, McClain? Flopcorn.
I know. Some shit that was like supposed to be tight.
can you give
Like,
us,
hold on. No. Like, you really thought you were gonna eat, but then like it was corny. You really thought you were about to go off, and then it was whack.
I'll use this in a sentence. That flopcorn tasted terrible.
What? It's a thing?
It's a thing. That flop corn. Okay.
I hate eating flopcorn.
Okay, so it's a bad. It's a bad thing.
It's a bad version of popcorn. It's like it's popcorn that's not buttery enough. It's trash.
flop corn.
It's like that 15 calorie popcorn. It's like wider than sunscreen, you know?
Candy corn.
Flopcorn is the kernels in the bottom of the popcorn bag that didn't pop.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm gonna give that one to Pert.
I don't know, man.
No,
I don't
I'm
know.
not taking it. I'm not
I
taking
don't
it.
know about that.
it was popcorn that's not buttery.
Yeah, but I was thinking like healthy popcorn, you know, like
Again, it's whoever's
closest,
and you went for candy.
But yeah, but the kernels at the bottom are much more reflective of the size and shape of candy corn than of the kind of flop corn he was talking about. By partial definition,
you're stretching like
the
Miss
point
Fantastic.
goes to Pert.
no points. No
Miss
points.
Incredible.
No points.
Not Miss Fantastic.
No points.
I run the game.
Mrs. Incredible. I'm
Fuck,
sorry.
man. All right, well, how many questions are left?
I love the Incredibles. I didn't even mean to call her Miss Fantastic.
We'll do one more question and it counts for 3.
Jesus Christ! What?
Okay.
All right.
Winner takes all.
Winner take all. Okay.
What does fubbing mean? And I can use it in a sentence.
Yeah, give me a sentence.
Yeah,
right
give
off
us
the
a
bat.
sentence,
And it's
too.
got to be PH, right?
Yes.
Of course. See, I know.
I went on a date and she was fubbing.
It's when a girl's going on a date with you to only get you to like pay for dinner. She has no interest in pursuing an actual relationship. She's just there to get some grub.
It's when you go and get pho, but
You're so
fibbing
wrong. You don't
at
want
the
that to
same
be your
time.
answer. You don't want that to be your answer.
We went to the party and he was fubbing the whole time.
Damn.
Okay. He was fubbing the whole time. I think it has to do with there's a group of people that are going to do something, but somebody's just not on the same wavelength. Like they're just on a completely different wavelength
he was fubbing.
than everybody else. That's my guess.
Yeah, you just fucking smacked out the park. That was great.
It sounds sexual.
It's when somebody's trying to be so braggadocious and talk their shit, but they're lying. They're just, they're fubbing. They're trying to,
That's what fibbing.
they're being no. But specifically when somebody's trying to be something that they're not, be like larger than life. Like prove that there's
So, like,
something.
fibbing
Flex
is small,
their stats.
Fubbing is like you're
And it's specifically tailored to who your identity is. It's specifically like I did this and and I'm great.
okay. All right.
Fubbing is a term used to describe neglecting someone in your company or presence by focusing on your phone instead. Fubbing. I'm gonna give the point to McClain.
I feel like I should get 2 points. That's a tied ball game, and now
I have another word.
got one?
Yeah. All right, tiebreaker?
Tiebreaker.
All right. What does cheatle mean? They left cheatle all over.
they left Cheetle all over.
Give me another sentence. One more before I form an opinion.
I think it's Cheeto dust. I think it's Cheeto dust.
Okay.
You're locking that in?
Unless they give me more information to work with.
I need one more sentence to form an opinion.
My favorite part is the cheatle at the end.
Dude, this does not help.
The Cheeto dust, man. It makes sense.
They left Cheeto everywhere. Fuck that. That was probably pretty rude of them. I don't know, bro. I have no fucking idea. I'm taking the L, bro. This is disgraceful.
That was a good idea, Pert, because cheetle is the orange powdery residue left on your fingers after eating Cheetos.
Nice.
No shot. No
Yeah.
way. I was
Super shot.
right.
I think
shot.
I kind of knew that. Damn, man.
The loser has to read a fan fiction.
Run me back. Is this one fucking wet and juicy though?
Yeah, it is.
I need a wet and
It is.
juicy one.
It-
All right.
it gets there.
All right,
It
get me
gets
there. Good. Pertinence and McClain were working on a new track together in the studio.
Wait, it's about them?
This is so scary.
Did you write this?
They couldn't seem to agree on the direction of the song, and tensions were running high. Can't you see my vision for this?
Wow.
Pertinence said, feeling frustrated.
Falling out. Wow.
I think we need to focus more on the lyrics, McClain countered.
That's a good point.
As they argued back and forth, Pertinence found himself getting increasingly irritated. But then McClain stepped closer to him and looked into his eyes. Holy shit.
Oh, butterflies.
Yo. Maybe we can find a way to get on the same page, McClain says. I think we make a great team. Pertinence felt a sudden warmth in his chest as he looked back at McClain. He wasn't sure if it was just his... Yo.
Should we like act it out as it's happening? Should I read the lines?
Yeah, okay. All right. Pertinence felt a sudden warmth in his chest as he looked back at McClain. He wasn't sure if it was just his imagination, but he couldn't help but feel a sense of romantic tension between them.
Who couldn't? Pert or me?
As they wrapped up the recording session, Pertinence knew that he wanted to be with McClain, but he wasn't sure if he was ready to take that step. Thanks for your help, McClain. Thanks for your help, McClain, he said, trying to keep his voice steady. Anytime, Pertinence, McClain replied with a smile. Pertinence walked out of the studio feeling a sense of longing and uncertainty. He knew that he would have to figure out his feelings for McClain soon. But for now, he just had to focus on the music.
Bro. I think you gotta write a song about me now. I think that's how it goes.
Is that too much?
I need to go.
I don't know if I overdid it.
That's awesome.